On July 26, 1998, Zoog Disney launched on Disney Channel. It was a programming block that was targeted at preteens and young teens. The block had characters that went with it, and it was also combined with its own internet website and games. It became a very popular programming block and produced some great shows. Prior to the block starting, just a year before in 1997, Disney Channel had made some changes. The channel had first launched in April of 1983 under the name The Disney Channel. It was a premium channel, meaning that it did not come with basic cable and you needed to pay extra to get it. During the 1980s, the programming was mainly a mix of classic Disney cartoons, a few animated series such as Good Morning Mickey, and more. There would also be old classic Disney movies and some other shows like Epcot Magazine. Mostly, it was family-friendly programming and educational programming, and they also had some made-for-TV movies as well. By 1990, Disney was becoming part of more basic cable packages and was fully basic cable by 1997. But during the 1990s, the channel slowly began to shift from a family-oriented channel to more kid-focused. They started having more programming blocks. One of these was the Disney Afternoon block, which led to one called The Block Party in the mid-90s. These were some syndicated shows as well as Disney cartoons like Tailspin and DuckTales. Movies and other classic Disney programming would still be played on the channel as well. However, in 1997, the channel did a major rebrand. First, they changed the name from The Disney Channel to just Disney Channel. But also, they became a full basic cable channel and were no longer premium as mentioned before. The logo changed, and the focus was even more so on children aged 6 to 14 as their target audience. Also that year, they had the first Disney Channel original movie, which was the comedy Under Wraps. This change to go from family programming to more kid programming was a way of emulating the success of the Nickelodeon channel, which was very popular in the 90s. By 1998, there were several different programming blocks. Vault Disney was a block in which classic Disney programming would air, such as shows like Zorro or classic Disney films. The Magical World of Disney was the primetime block that was often movies but had a variety of things. The Toon Disney block, which featured animated series, and later on the Playhouse Disney block, which was shows for young children. Zoog was the block added for preteens and young teens. In my opinion, Zoog was the most distinct block and also was very unique. First off, there were cartoon characters named Zoogs who hosted the block. These Zoogs were robotic/alien characters that lived in the so-called space between computers and TVs called Zeether. Originally, there were about 8 of these Zoog characters that were hosts, and the Zoog block had a theme song as well. The characters' names were .com, Zoogina, Browser, Gatherer, MZ, Twitch, Arlene, and Joe Zoog. A big thing with Zoog was the internet, which in 1998 was becoming more and more popular every year. In fact, it was an interactive block which had its own website. Viewers could go to the Zoog website and make comments, vote on shows, and play games. The high scores to games would often be displayed during commercial breaks, and sometimes they would show the comments, and they would also have polls of which episode or show you would want to have played. The website was overall a fun place for kids to go on the internet and also affect things on TV. Zoog Disney officially launched on Sunday, July 26, 1998 at 5 p.m. with the show Bug Juice. It started out as a weekend block on Saturdays and Sundays from 5 to 7 p.m. So what was the programming on Zoog Disney? The first show on the block was Bug Juice, as I mentioned, which was a reality summer camp TV show. In the show, they would follow around 20 kids at a summer camp and document their experiences. There would be lots of drama, and the kids would make friends and do camp activities. It was geared towards children aged 9 to 12 mainly, and it was a pretty successful program. Originally, Season 1 of Bug Juice had already been aired from February to July 1998 as part of Magical World of Disney. On Zoog Disney, these were reruns at first, but later on they would have new seasons. The next show on the block was Mad Libs. This was a brand new show that first aired on the opening night of Zoog Disney back in July of '98. Mad Libs was a game show where 2 teams of kids would compete against each other in all kinds of different challenges. Hosted by David Sidoni, there would be several different rounds and the kids would compete to win prizes. The final show on the block was Going Wild with Jeff Corwin. This show had first aired in August of 1997 on Disney Channel and was a nature documentary show. There would be some new episodes to come on the Zoog block though. Host Jeff Corwin would go all around the world and show animals and interesting things in nature. After a few months, on November 1st, 1998, Mad Libs was removed from the Zoog block and replaced with Flash Forward. Mad Libs was already being shown on weeknights on Disney Channel and not on the Zoog block as well. Flash Forward was a show on Disney Channel that originally aired from 1995 to 1997. It was about 2 friends who are also neighbors and narrate their middle school lives. They compare it to when they were younger and face ups and downs and the challenges of middle school. Occasionally on Zoog, one of these shows would be replaced with Movie Surfers. This was a show where a group of kids would talk about new Disney movies. They would give behind-the-scenes looks at the productions of films, give interviews, and more. Another occasional event on Zoog Disney would be concerts. Moving into 1999, the block was still just a few hours on the weekends and mostly consisted of just 3 programs. In April, a brand new show, Z Games, debuted on the block. This was a short-lived reality show where kids would make up games and play them on the TV show. It replaced Bug Juice, which was taken off the Zoog block temporarily. Going into the fall of 1999, Zoog Disney was expanded significantly. Starting on September 3, 1999, Zoog now aired from 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Fridays and 1 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. Many new shows were added, such as The Babysitter's Club, Brotherly Love, The Famous Jet Jackson, So Weird, and Smart Guy. Bug Juice was brought back, and Flash Forward remained on the block. The Babysitter's Club was a show that originally aired from 1990 to 1993. Originally, it was a direct-to-video show and then on HBO before going to Disney Channel. The show was based on a book series of the same name about a teen babysitting business and their ups and downs. Brotherly Love was a show that originally aired from 1995 to 1997 and was on NBC and later the WB originally. It's about 3 brothers running a family business, and the actors of the show are actually brothers in real life as well, which is pretty interesting. The Famous Jet Jackson was a Disney Channel show that originally came out in 1998 but not as part of Zoog. New episodes were still released when it joined the Zoog block. It was about Jet Jackson, who is a teenage boy and plays an action hero on TV. He then moves the show to his hometown to try to have a more normal life. So Weird was another new show which had begun airing earlier in that year in January of 1999 on Disney Channel. It's a fantasy drama mystery show where a preteen girl travels the country witnessing supernatural occurrences. She posts them on her website called So Weird. With the fact that the internet was part of the show and the age of the characters, it was perfect for the block. Smart Guy was a show that had originally aired from 1997 to 99 on the WB. It's about child prodigy TJ Henderson, who moved from 4th grade to 10th grade because of how smart he is. He ends up attending the same high school as his older siblings and is obviously the youngest person there. The Zoog Disney block was the first time that Smart Guy aired on Disney Channel. Zoog also began airing movies as part of the block at this time as well. The Jersey was also added to the Zoog block. This was a show that first aired in January of 1999 on Disney Channel. It's about a group of 4 teenagers who discover a mystical football jersey. This jersey transports them into the bodies of professional athletes, and many star athletes would make guest appearances on the show. Music videos were also added to the block in late 1999, mostly from bands or artists popular with the preteen crowd. So for late 1999, it was Z Games, Flash Forward, Brotherly Love, Bug Juice, Smart Guy, Jet Jackson, The Babysitter's Club, and So Weird as the main shows on the block. Starting in late 1999 and then in early 2000, ABC sitcom Growing Pains, which originally ran from 1985 to 1992, was added to the block. It was about a family called the Seaver family and their daily lives. It had already been airing on Disney Channel, but not always on Zoog. This lineup of shows would sometimes change around with some coming and going, but it was generally some mix of them. And I should also mention that some of these shows would also air outside of the Zoog block as well on Disney Channel. That went on for the first half of 2000, and in the summer of 2000, Zoog would end up getting expanded even more. It began occasionally airing until 9 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, with the 2-hour tour joining the lineup. This was a documentary show about aspiring music artists who would audition to open for a real music star on tour. This show did not last for that long though. In the summer of 2000, Zoog occasionally aired all the way until midnight, and on June 16th, they added the brand new show Totally Circus. This was one of a few shows to debut on the Zoog block to that point, and was a documentary reality show. It followed a group of kids who joined a traveling circus camp called Circus Smirkus. This show was very similar to Bug Juice in many ways in my opinion, but with a circus theme. However, like 2-hour tour, this show did not last for very long. The following day, on Saturday, June 17th, the show Even Stevens debuted on Disney Channel and on Zoog at 5:30 p.m. Even Stevens was a comedy show about the Stevens family who have 3 kids in school and live in Sacramento, California. This show would go on to be very successful and one of the best original shows not only from the Zoog block but in Disney Channel history. After that same weekend in mid-June of 2000, Zoog expanded once more, this time in a very big way. Disney Channel now became basically 3 blocks. There was Vault Disney for classic Disney programming, which started at about midnight and ran in the overnight hours. then Playhouse Disney for young children in the morning, and then the afternoons all the way until midnight were Zoog Disney. This included many of the same shows and had more movies, including many Disney Channel original movies. And Zoog was no longer just a weekend block, but on every day. In a Heartbeat was a show added to Zoog in late 2000. This was a new drama show about high school students working as EMTs. Also in late 2000, Disney Channel acquired Boy Meets World after its run ended on ABC. This show ran from 1993 to 2000 originally and was about the life of Corey Matthews. Throughout the course of the show, he progresses from boy to adult, and the reruns ran on Zoog Disney. On Friday, January 12, 2001, Lizzie McGuire debuted on Disney Channel on the Zoog block. This show was about teenage girl Lizzie McGuire's daily life at school and around her friends and family. An animated version of Lizzie would sometimes speak to the audience and explain what she's thinking as well. This show became another huge hit for Disney Channel. Later in 2001, the show Totally Hoops, which was a reality show that followed a youth girls basketball team, was added, and in fall of 2001, The Proud Family debuted on Disney Channel during Zoog. This was an animated sitcom about teenage girl Penny Proud and the rest of her family, the Proud Family. It went on to be another successful Disney Channel show over the years. For the rest of 2001, Zoog was mostly shows Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens, Jet Jackson, Boy Meets World, In a Heartbeat, Brotherly Love, The Jersey, Bug Juice, So Weird, and Smart Guy. There would also be a few more new Disney Channel original movies coming out every so often on Zoog. Another interesting thing about Disney Channel is how they did not have commercials like most channels back then. During commercial breaks, it would be all Disney content used in a fun way. Some examples of their so-called commercials were short programming like Movie Surfers or behind-the-scenes shows. They were always related to Disney in some sort of way with the content, and they would also have commercials for other shows or movies, or have short music videos from Disney movies or shows. But another part of these were the Zoog hosts, where they would announce high scores from the online games or review results of online polls. This was always a big part of the Zoog experience, and the overall Disney Channel experience as well, and it made it different from other channels in a good way. Through most of 2002, the schedule remained a mix of these same shows. Animated shows Pepper Ann and Doug, shows that both came over from Disney's One Saturday Morning on ABC, also joined the block, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the show, was part of Zoog as well. On Friday, June 7th though, another big hit show debuted on Zoog Disney with Kim Possible. This was an animated show about a teenage girl in high school who also has a secret life as a crime fighter. She works with her best friend Ron Stoppable and his pet Rufus. As mentioned, this show went on to be very successful and a big part of the block. Later that month, in June 2002, the show Totally in Tune began airing on Disney Channel as part of Zoog. This was a short-lived reality series following a group of high school kids who attend a music school. In the month of September of 2002, Disney started another rebrand. On September 8, 2002, the Vault Disney block officially ended, and also on that day, the Zoog Disney block was phased out. It was hard to tell because things seemed mostly the same. However, from that point on for the rest of the month, there wasn't much mention of Zoog. And on Sunday, September 29, 2002, the Zoog Disney block officially ended. Disney Channel did a major rebrand, changing graphics, theme songs, and beginning the bounce era of the channel. Things remained mostly the same as far as programming, but the rebrand was very noticeable. Disney Channel remained very successful for many years. Zoog Disney is remembered as a very memorable and fun block in programming history. It was revolutionary how it combined the internet and TV, and brought a lot of entertainment to kids from 1998 to 2002. If you watched this block, comment what your favorite show was and what your favorite memories of it were. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.